Do you have to wear those glasses?
I can't read the cue card.
Do we really need all these lights?
There's lots to do when you're making a videotape, and nothing is more necessary than lighting. Without light, you get no picture at all. But your skill at lighting can add value to the production, can enhance the mood. Use it skillfully, and you add an artistic dimension to your videotape production that could be the deciding factor in your show's success. First, you must have enough light so the camera can record a good, strong signal on the tape. That's what you're trying to do with lighting. Shoot outdoors or near a window. A circulating fan. By the way, don't switch the lights on or off while you're recording. The sudden power surge may make the recorder change speed. A bald head. Cut down the rim light.
Nothing. I wasn't even recording.
It's a new technology, videotape, and it's changing. But whatever the equipment, the basic techniques of setting up are the same. And when things go wrong, as they occasionally will, well, the show must go on. If vertical hold or horizontal hold are off, they'll look like this and should be adjusted. A tracking error means the playback head isn't reading the recorded signal correctly. Incorrect take-up or feed reel tension will create bending of the picture. The skew control should correct this condition. You want to record a known good quality signal first. So switch back to an off-the-air broadcast signal and put a blank tape in the recorder. To record, you must press the record and play buttons together. Look for the recording indicator light to tell you that the recording is taking place. Record 20 or 30 seconds. Study the quality of the image that you're recording so you can judge the playback quality. Listen to the speaker while someone talks into the mic.
Test 1, 2.
Try to keep the f-stop near the middle of the AGC range to allow automatic correction in both directions. You're now ready to record your show with the confidence that the equipment is not only working, but working right.
Please stand by, we're recording.
As a practical matter, you should be prepared to get in touch with a replacement technician if your regular serviceman is unavailable. Rough handling of the transport will result in mechanical failure. Pressure should be avoided. You might interfere with a moving part. Most aggravating is damage to the camera's picture tube by prolonged exposure to a bright light. Severe burns may be removable by aiming the camera at a bright, evenly lit surface. Remember your first videotape job? The excitement, the fun? There you were, doing it all yourself, really making an impression. Then the jobs got harder, more complicated, more important. Other people became involved, and the novelty wore off. Now you've been given a complex production to do, and it could be a good show. But what should you be doing to make it great? You have to know who'll be seeing your program. Find out how much they know about your subject and what attitude they have about it. If your VTR can edit, you can shoot out of sequence or add scenes to your tape after it's done. 2 cameras and a switcher will let you shoot longer scenes, give you a wider choice of camera angles, or allow you to shoot the whole show in one take. If you plan to distribute copies of your finished program, be sure your master recorder will allow for sharp, stable transfers. When going on location, be sure your gear is designed for portability. A third type of production problems are the legal questions which may come up, especially if your program is to be sold or distributed widely. If you're using music, you'll have to get copyright clearance. There are a number of good music libraries. You buy the records or tapes and then pay a royalty fee each time you use a selection in your production. You may, on the simplest production, do all the work yourself as a kind of one-man band. However, with a complex production, and if your budget allows, you may need skills for writing, for art, titles, and graphics, for set building, for performing, for music, for obtaining, running, and maintaining the cameras and recorders, for lighting, for locating props, for taking care of any special requirements of your show, such as finding locations or building visual aids. And you'll need a director with the talent to take all of these elements and skills and turn them into a show. When each scene is finished, make sure you've got it. Even though the scene looked perfect, check it on the tape, and you'll sit with the audience and accept the blame and the praise for what everyone else did.
The main problem with a handheld camera is the unsteady picture which results from a nervous or tired camera operator's hand. Now, in some applications, it may be necessary to use the camera in a handheld fashion, but we advise the use of a tripod whenever possible. A tripod will not only give steady pictures, but also enables the operator to concentrate on better picture composition. The next part of the system is the VTR. Depending on the type you select, it may use quarter-inch, half-inch, three-quarter-inch, or one-inch videotape. As a general rule, the wider the videotape, the higher the final video quality. For most educational and industrial applications, half-inch or three-quarter-inch videotape recorders will provide adequate picture reproduction. The age of videotape editing is here. The signal coming from a VTR has two types of problems or errors. Mechanical errors caused from friction and tension, which is called time base error, and electrical error, resulting from the videotape recording process itself. A proc amp can correct electrical error and help the signal in the dubbing process, but can do little to correct mechanical error. That's the job of the TBC.
So you're going to make a videotape. Well, no big deal, really. All you want to do is record some event or teach a lesson. Just something to show the kids in class, and they're not very fussy. Don't be fooled. Your audience is visually very sophisticated. They've grown up watching TV shows and movies made by big crews with high production budgets. Your audience expects entertainment and organization from the TV shows they watch. The correct way to focus a zoom lens is to zoom all the way in on the subject and then focus. This provides focus throughout the zoom range. This machine, shot straight from the front, looks dull and flat, strictly two-dimensional. But shooting from an angle enables us to see the machine in perspective. You can connect two cameras to a switcher and do dissolves, wipes, split screens, and superimposers. With your special effects generator, you can quickly and simply create abstract and unusual electronic images. These techniques are called matting and keying. In this picture, the person is an example of matting, which is simply replacing parts of your picture with black or white or a color. The background sparkles are an example of keying. Keying is a technique for inserting parts of one scene into another. In this example, the blue studio wall is removed electronically and portions of a 35mm slide are inserted.
Okay, maybe I can just be myself, but how do I make people pay attention?
Everyone involved in your production is beefing up the program in every possible way in order to maintain interest, in order to produce the very best possible show they can. The extreme result can be information overload. The production is too hot for the viewer to handle. The talent ends up force-feeding the viewer. The viewer wonders what I'm looking for and sees the bald spot in the middle of my head.
Finally, I've got it. It's so easy, so simple. Just you and me, one-to-one.
No, cut. Fred, you've got to be much more sincere. Now, let's try it again. I think you should.
Create the ultimate in communication, just as the radio producers did a few decades ago. With this goal in mind, Let's look at the typical audio tools in a studio and see how they can be used to create the best possible audio communications. There's a built-in microphone in the front of many portable television cameras. This mic cannot be used for all audio pickups because it is normally too far away from the performer. It should be used to record background sounds or sound effects. An audio mixer will have a volume control or pot for each audio source.
Videotape has put the means for audio-visual communication into everyone's possession. With today's VTR equipment, it's easy to go on location with our suitcase studio. A stylized, abstract background sets the proper mood. These types of settings are challenges to your imagination. A reveal board is a visually exciting way to introduce new subjects. Lightning completes the picture with sound effects.
As advanced as our modern TV systems are today, this is the area which is being scanned by the camera's pickup tube. The television transmission process is not perfect or exact. In other words, the exact screen area of a camera may not be wholly displayed on a monitor or TV receiver. The computer age has changed many techniques of television production. One of the most striking is the electronic character generator. Just a few years ago, this device was a stepchild of the TV producer. Today, almost every large studio uses one. Another benefit of modern technology is computer graphics. A specially programmed computer which is interfaced with a character generator can provide lines, words, or objects which appear to have three-dimensional characteristics. These objects can move or be formed on the screen. Computer graphics are expensive and out of reach for the small ETV producer. However, like all new concepts, they will someday be used by many TV systems. A panel discussion has similar cost and production factors as a lecture, but even a panel discussion needs some visual excitement. The use of a keyed background can be a useful aid. Sometimes the topic under discussion lends itself to a special set which creates a theme or a mood. Good camera moves and interesting camera angles will help visual interest. After your panel discussion is over, and before the panel gets away, shoot a series of reaction shots or cutaway shots. You will be able to edit these in post-production to add interest.
The purpose of this videotape is to give you a standard reference to adjust playback monitors in your system. No tools will be required. Brightness may be called intensity on some sets, and in some cases, contrast may be labeled picture. Let me repeat that. We're now sending you a color picture with an average brightness value. In the lower right-hand corner of the screen appear the words "too bright," a 3M brand, and a vertical gray bar within a white background. You'll use this to adjust your sets. The player should have detail in her hair, around her eyes, and in the shadow area around her neck. Now here's a registration chart.
What's that little thing?